Hi everyone, this is Barbara Beckmann. Today I'm going to be showing you a really wonderful painting. It's pretty simple. Thought I would sketch it out for you here and show you how I paint it. It is for a class that I'll be teaching, a beginner's acrylic class, so I thought it was a good time to just videotape it for you. So I'm going to start out with some foam plates. They're very inexpensive. They're from the dollar store, so you don't need anything fancy. No fancy palettes yet. Anything to preserve your paint or save your paint, because this is relatively quick to mix, so you don't need to have a large supply of paint on hand like you would if you would be working on an acrylic painting for a long period of time or over a series of days. Okay, so this is intended to be painted very quickly within about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Okay, so I'm using two brushes here. I have a 3/4 inch wash brush. It's just a flat brush. It's squared at the end here, and these brushes were probably about $15 each. I can put a link to them below. I think I got them at Jerry's, but I'll take a look and I'll make sure where I got them, and I'll put a link for you if you want to buy them. This is a number 10 round brush, and these are the two brushes that I try to start out with teaching. I find with these two brushes we can do a lot of different things. We could make really skinny lines, and we can make bold lines, larger lines, fill in areas quickly. These are just great and good go-to brushes to start with. So I'm just using a normal palette. It's going to be just the primary colors. This paint is very inexpensive. It's from AC Moore. It's like their student grade acrylic paint, but it is not washable if it gets on clothes. You have to wash it off right away, so it will stay in there forever. Some people have little tricks that they can get acrylic paint out of clothes, but honestly, I've never been successful at it. So try not to get this on you if you can. It's excellent value for your money. It is a 1-quart jar, and I think it's about $12.99 now. It used to be $9.99, but they raised their prices a little bit. So with the coupon, if you're lucky, you can get a 50% coupon. They will honor that on these, okay? So you can get them for around $6, $7. So it's really good quality. It has good coverage. They're nice and creamy. You can make a lot of different colors just from your primary colors. So this is how I start teaching my adults that have never painted before, or my children in my kids' classes. So it's great. It's permanent when it's dry, and it's easy clean up with just water. And for the brushes, I just use regular dish soap. I find it's very mild, and as long as you get all that paint out of the ferrule of the brush, which is the metal part here, and you don't let it sit in water and ruin your wood, these brushes can last quite a long time, and they're great for learning. Okay, so I'm starting out with just a bright red and a cobalt blue, and I believe this is AC Moore's brand. So it's just great for sip and paint parties, or for teaching kids, or like I said, adults starting out that aren't they're just getting their feet wet, kind of. If I were to teach regular beginner acrylic paint with a higher end, maybe a Liquitex, it's different. I wouldn't be using this student grade paint, okay? But this is great to get your feet wet. See if you even like art. See if you find that creative spark inside you, which I hope you do, because it's such a good hobby. It's my profession, and I absolutely love it. I'm just blessed that I'm able to do this. So here's just the regular yellow, no fancy names, black, and of course my white. So let me go ahead and put it on my palette, and I'll be right back to you, and we can start sketching out our painting. Okay, so now that my paint is all out on my foam plates here, what I'm going to do is just give you a little brief down of how I like to work. I always put the white in the middle, just habit, I guess, and I just arrange my colors on the side of it. Underneath it, or on the side of it, I would put some extra plates, and this is going to be where you're going to do all your mixing, okay? So I feed from the colors that are on the palette, and then I mix on the other plates. Okay, so when I say take some white and mix it with some red, I find a lot of people go straight down into the middle of it. And what happens is they end up at some point contaminating their colors, and they start mixing things together. So when I'm mixing my colors, or when I ask my students to take some blue or some red, I always go from the side, okay? And I'll just take a little bit, like a scoop, and then I'll place it on paper plate or the foam plate. Okay, so if I wanted to add some white to that, I don't have to necessarily rinse this all out. As long as I go from the side, I'll be fine. Now, of course, a lot of people need more white, so you might be adding more colors to this as we go. You don't need a lot of paint to get started with this one, okay? So right away, I'm just going to mix a nice light blue together. I'm looking for a nice light blue background, and then I'll start actually sketching. This is a sunflower, and it's really quite pretty. I want the blue to be a little bit muted. What I mean by that is I just want to take that blue out of it a little bit, like almost like dirtying it up or graying it up a little bit. So I'm going to come back from the side. I'm just going to grab a little bit of black. Not too much black, because black can take over. And black can really be a little bit bossy. So I'll mix it on the side first and get most of that black out of here. And then I'll start mixing it into this section. See what I come up with. I can always pull this back into here. So I think that's a little too dark for what I'm looking for. So I'm going to have to go grab a little bit more white. Just a little bit, not too much. I may have to add some blue as well. So again, I'm going to take the white like this. So I'm careful not to contaminate the whole thing. And see if I get the color that I'm looking for. So yep, that's more like the color. It's kind of like a dusty blue, I guess. It just takes that bright boldness out of that cobalt blue. That's beautiful and bright. But for this one, I want like more of like a muted blue color. Okay. So I'm just going to give my brush a rinse out. I'm going to leave that on the side for a little bit later. And I'm just pouncing it. Okay, that's how I clean the brush. I just pounce it up and down. You can beat the heck out of it. It's not going to hurt the brush at all. Okay, I'm just going to lay it down on a paper towel next to me. Okay, so we're painting sunflower. Beautiful sunflower. So I'm just going to get my brush wet, and that just helps me get a little bit of movement, open up the bristles of the brush a little bit. So the sunflower is going to have a dark middle. So I'm going to take some of the black, and I'm just going to add some water to it, just to get it a little bit more inky, okay? This is where I'm going to sketch from, so I don't need a lot of paint at all. So I'm sketching out my design first. Okay, so it's more inky consistency. You can see where it runs a little bit. So that's what I'm going to sketch with. Alright, so the sunflower is going to be quite large, and up on top I'm going to have some words. So I know that my petal might want to end somewhere around here. Okay, so I want these nice big petals, but I still want to be able to see that sunflower middle. So I think I'm going to center it. That's going to be where they start from. So this down here will be like half of that middle of that sunflower, that dark area. So it's just kind of making like a half circle. Okay, so I don't really need to place these so perfectly at this point, but I'm going to just start from the center and kind of eyeball a little bit to the right and a little bit to the left of that, so my flower will be pretty centered. Okay, alright, so sunflowers are pointy. I want to have this one to be like a little bit curvy over here, have some movement to it. So I'm going to kind of more like that. Okay, so don't care that I went in here at all. Don't worry about it. You're going to paint over that. So you're just kind of blocking in where you want your petals to go at this point. Alright, so I'm going to put one next to that here, and maybe I'll make it go the other way. So they're going to touch, but not totally. You don't want to make it like a daisy. Okay, and I'm going to just choose to go the other way, just because I like things going different ways. I don't want to copy the whole same thing. Now see, if I don't like this, which I'm not feeling it, I'm just going to fix it at this point. Okay, so I might make this one going the same direction. My other one. I'll connect them down here. I'm not worried about like these spaces down here. They'll be fine in the end. So maybe I'll kind of turn it a different way, because they're all going to be trying to face that sunshine. So I'm using the same black, which I spilled a little water on it. And it's fine. All this is going to be covered, so it's really not a big deal. But might as well wipe it off when I have it there. Alright. I'm just going to go around. I'm just careful to kind of make these the same width. Okay. I'm not really loving this one, so I'm going to change this one. Like I said, you can change it as you go. So acrylic paint is very forgiving like that. You can really do a lot of different things. I think I kind of like that look better. Alright, this one's going to obviously run off, so I'm not really going to see that at all. I'm going to start to try to turn it down here on the bottom, because it would be turning naturally. That's the way the flower grows. Okay, so I'm not going to see that one. Okay, I'm going to grab a little bit more black, because I ran out a little bit. Only use what you think you're going to need. You can always grab some more. So it's still very inky. And now this one's going to go this way. So next to it, this might run off, which is fine. So you're really only going to see these 3 petals, the tips of those petals. Okay, and the sunflower's going to curve in like this and start to curve. Okay. Alright, so that's our first step. So we're going to go rinse our brush out, and I'm going to put it to the side again. And I'm going to take my big brush, I'm going to wet it just to open up those bristles. Dab it off on my paper towel. I'm going to go ahead and start blocking in the background. Okay, so this one's pretty solid. It's not going to be a lot of different text, like movement to it. That's what my client had asked me. She wanted just a very simple, basic background. I will add a little bit of something going on as I go along to the back, because I just don't like it so flat. I don't like anything so flat like a coloring book when you're little. I like to add some kind of life to it. Give it some personality. So make sure you mix a pretty good amount of this. Okay. So when I'm painting, I make sure I do the whole canvas, and see how it's like a little thin? You can see the canvas coming through here. That's just because it's really pretty thin down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get this layer on, and I'm going to go ahead and let it dry for a minute. I'm going to come back, mix similar color, try to get it the same, but if it's not a big deal. This is just my base, and this is just going to help me get the next layer on. So it's okay that I see all these brush strokes. I'm not worried about it at all. So it's really pretty color. It's soothing. Okay, here's where I changed my mind and just went over it. Simple as that. And it's okay that you can see through it and see the mistakes, or not mistakes, but you can see where I changed it up in the background. That's not a big deal. We're going to go over that. Alright, so here, good example. So I didn't mix enough paint, which is fine. I don't want you to overmix. You don't want to use all your paint up. So I took a little blue, and I took a little white, and I took a little bit of black. And black's bossy, so you want to add it in a little at a time, right? Just want to try to get that color close to it. And I think I'll take a little bit more white. See what I come up with. So you can tweak it as you go. Of course, it's not going to be exactly perfect. Can't match that exactly perfect, but I came pretty close. So don't forget, I'm going to paint over this again, and I'm just going to let it dry. So this is just my good base coverage for right now. These are a lot of fun to paint. A lot of people are painting sunflowers right now. I think I'm in New York, so they're kind of blooming all over the place here. So I think people are just enjoying them and wanting to bring that inside. A little bit of sunshine. So I'm going to go ahead and do my sides while I have this paint on here. If you forget and you need to mix later, it's fine. You just do the same thing. Use the same colors that you used and create something a little similar. Doesn't have to be perfect. So I always tell people nothing's perfect, and they're all going to be different. So if your painting doesn't look exactly like mine, it's okay. You're learning, or you're just having fun. So just enjoy it. It's a lot of fun to paint. I love to paint. I've been painting since I was a little girl. I think I started my first painting I probably did I did a watercolor when I was 3. My sister just happened to be, she's 13 years older than me, so she was artistic and she enjoyed it, so I watched her. And she happened to save my painting, so I actually have it. It was a paint by number, or not paint by number, it was the, you know, when you connect the dots. So it probably had about 10 dots to it. It was a teacup, and she helped me, of course, because I probably couldn't count at all. And then she just gave me watercolor palette, and I have I must have been 3 or 4. It says the year on it, but I do remember doing it, so I don't know if you really can remember that far back, but. And she framed it for me probably when I was a teenager. She's just saved it for me, and she gave it to me as a present. And it's probably one of my most treasured gifts I've ever received from her. I'm not sure if she knows that. Okay, so that's nice. I like it. Let it dry a little bit. I'm going to come back in a little while. I'm going to rinse my brush out. I'm going to start my base colors here for the next step. So it's a lot of layering. That's how I paint. Okay. Now I'm going to work. I don't even care that it's wet. I'm throwing it right on here. I don't stress about anything. I'm sure somebody else will tell you that's insane, but I don't know. It doesn't bother me. I just have fun. So I'm going to work on this middle part here, which is really dark in the sunflower. So I'm going to take some black. Again, I could use the same spot. I'm going to just knock it down a tiny bit. So I'm going to add a little bit of red to it, just because it takes that brightness out of it. I'm going to add some red to that. And I might add a little bit of blue. Kind of purpling it up a tiny bit. Just not so harsh. See, if you put the black next to it, you see the difference here. So it's kind of making it that brown, darkish brown center. The dark color that I'm looking for. So I'm just going to quickly block this in. I'm not going to be perfect. I'm not going to go like this. Okay? You don't want to do it like a coloring book. You want to just kind of block it in. It's going to be jagged. It's not going to be like perfectly round. So, and that's fun too, because I like not being perfect. Never perfect. Perfectly imperfect. I have an awesome shirt that I ordered somewhere online that I love, and I try to wear those when I teach my classes, because we're all so different, and I don't want people to stress when they do this. It's supposed to be about relaxing and having fun and creating something pretty that you can hang up, or these make great presents. And it's August right now, but Christmas comes quick, or holidays, Hanukkah, it comes quick, so it's nice to be able to give somebody a handmade treasure. Okay, so we blocked in that, and we'll wash our brush out. And I don't wash my brush out a lot. I'm washing it out pretty much more than I ever usually do. I like the dirty water. I like using it to my advantage, and it allows me to kind of cross-pollinate other colors that I'm using into the painting. So, I mean, it cleans it out enough, but it's still would be like blue in here. Blue. See? It is kind of blue, but it's so watered down it doesn't bother me. Alright, so I'm going to work on my sunflowers. So I'm going to first start with some yellow. So since I'm not mixing it right now, I also like to do a lot of mixing on my canvas as well. So I'm going to try to hold my plate. I don't want to keep it here all the time. I feel like I'm doing that, and I don't mean to. I'm going to just take some yellow, and I'm just going to get the shape now. So you can see the petals that we drew out with that very light black in the beginning. It's so watered down too. It's not like very thick black, but we're going to go over that here now. You're still going to be able to see it, and that's fine. So I'm just going to ever so lightly touch these at this point right now. I don't want to really go into them too much because it's really wet, and we're going to make ugly colors if we do that. So just take your yellow and define your petals a little bit. It's okay if you knock into it. See, if I knock into it and pull it through, pull it up into my petal, it's okay. It's not a big deal. And you also don't have to go around each one like this. These are all going to connect, so it's okay. You're going to see your lines through it, your sketch lines. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just go paint all this yellow. I'm going to paint this yellow, and then I'll be right back. So now that I've painted in my petals, I'll move things around here a little bit. I don't want to put that plate in front of here all the time. Alright, so I'm just still taking the yellow. I'm going to do my sides again. So now I have some yellow sides. Just going to quickly make sure. I should put something down on my desk, but I forgot to. Maybe I'll put some paper towels down there quickly. I'm juggling a lot of different projects today, so it doesn't surprise me that I forgot to put something on my desk. I just finished, I'm a commission artist, so most of the time I'm painting commissions. And I like to teach classes on the side just because I like to get out and meet different people. It's funny because I would consider myself an introvert, and I don't know. I think maybe I've changed. Since I've started these paintings, I meet so many people, and I don't mind so much going out talking to the world. My husband makes fun of me because wherever I go, he's like, you could talk to a rock, which I guess is kind of good because I'm in my studio right now alone, and it is like talking to a rock. No offense. Anyway, let's get back to what I was trying to teach you. Okay, so now I have all my yellow out. Looks good to me. Okay, I'm going to rinse again, which, like I said, it's kind of rare for me, but in this one we're going to have to, because I don't want to have any yellow in this brush and go ahead and make a nice background that's blue, because it's going to turn green. We don't want that. So just bang it out. Of course, if you're if you like to have really, really clean water, it's okay. You can go ahead and use 2 cups of water. Keep one for your dirty water, one for your clean. Or if you don't care like me, you can just use that one cup. Alright, so I'm going to make this color again. Okay, so it was the blue. And it was white. And I'm taking it from the sides. I'm still not going in there because I'm going to make it last. I'm not going to contaminate it. And since I already have black on my palette, I'm just going to pull some of this black in there once I get this mixed. You really don't need a lot, and there is still some on here. See, I can pick some up, pull it in. I always yell at, not yell, I shouldn't say yell. The people in my classes, they just use the whole plate to mix, and I'm like, what are you doing? But look, here I am doing the same thing. So now I get it, now I won't say anything to them. So this is a pretty nice color, very similar to what I was using. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply it on here because it's probably dry enough at this point. So I like adding a lot of different colors in the background as I go. But this is for a fundraiser, and this, I spoke to my client who's hiring me. It's actually going to be for suicide prevention. So this is what she wanted. So it might be meaningful to her, somebody she knows, or maybe somebody that took their life or struggling. I'm not sure. I don't really ask too many questions. But this is exactly what she had described to me. So she wanted a beautiful, like, muted blue background. Sometimes people don't describe things to me at all, and they just kind of let me do whatever I want. But on this case, she did see a sunflower that I did. Actually, I posted it not so long ago. That was for a fundraiser for another sad thing. And usually they're not so sad, actually. That was for a girl who was killed about 3 weeks ago by a drunk driver. She was only 20. So I did a fundraiser. Mostly for her family. A lot of her family came. A lot of her friends came. I think it was more like a bonding thing for them, or a healing thing. But they came, and it was actually a beautiful day. And the girl loved sunflowers, so we did a sunflower. And all the money went to MAD. So that was a good thing. Alright, I'm going to show you what I just did here, because mistakes happen. So as I was talking, I grabbed yellow. So yeah, we know that blue and yellow are going to make green. So hopefully I can recover from this. So I'm not going to panic. I'm just going to show you what I would do. I'm going to take more blue. Just going to kind of neutralize that color. I'm going to take some white. I'm just mixing it in. It was such a little amount that I could have freaked out and panicked, but I didn't. And that's what painting's about. Just don't freak out, don't panic. You can recover almost anything. So just gotta have to kind of try a little bit harder to get this color back, and I'm starting to see it. So I just used the same colors that I made it with, and I just added a little bit more in there. So again, it's a little darker, it's okay. Just going to keep going. I'm not going to stress about it. It'll kind of blend itself in. You won't even realize it. So when I paint these, I like to always darken up my corners. I feel like it draws your eye into your focal subject, into the middle. So I might do that, even though they had wanted like a more solid color. I just feel like, especially with these fundraisers, people are paying money to come to them, that I don't want to make it so easy. I like to teach them something, maybe blending colors together, something, so they get their money's worth. And so it takes a little time. I mean, this could be done relatively quickly if we wanted it to be. And maybe, you know, that's her intention, is to have something that's only going to be quick, because she is in a bar setting doing this. So I don't know if she rented it out or what, or she knows the owner. But yeah, so you're still going to have a little bit of streakiness to it, which I like. I'm going to actually do a little bit of it with intention, because I feel like you really need to see brush strokes. It's just who I am as a painter, and they hired me based on my past jobs and my artwork. So I'm going to go ahead and just not make it so flat. So if I were doing this for my own, like I said, I would be adding a lot of different colors in here, just because I like to do that. But we'll keep it simple for them, because that's what they asked me for. So okay, so when I mix things together a little bit, you can still see some darks and lights very subtly. I think I am going to go darken up this corner though, because I just feel like I have to be true to myself as well. So here's a little bit of a darker mixture I made. Okay, I'm just going to kind of put that in the corners. I like some movement in the background. And it's just gives it some character, I feel. Okay. Alright, put both corners, got some darkness going on. Not too terribly dark, just a tiny bit darker. Okay. I'm going to rinse my brush out. And I'm going to go from there. Okay. So now that I've painted in my petals, I'll move things around here a little bit. I don't want to put that plate in front of here all the time. Alright, so I'm just still taking the yellow. I'm going to do my sides again. So now I have some yellow sides. Just going to quickly make sure. I should put something down on my desk, but I forgot to. Maybe I'll put some paper towels down there quickly. I'm juggling a lot of different projects today, so it doesn't surprise me that I forgot to put something on my desk. I just finished, I'm a commission artist, so most of the time I'm painting commissions. And I like to teach classes on the side just because I like to get out and meet different people. It's funny because I would consider myself an introvert, and I don't know, I think maybe I've changed. Since I've started these paintings, I meet so many people, and I don't mind so much going out talking to the world. My husband makes fun of me because wherever I go, he's like, you could talk to a rock, which I guess is kind of good because I'm in my studio right now alone, and it is like talking to a rock. No offense. Anyway, let's get back to what I was trying to teach you. Okay, so now I have all my yellow out. Looks good to me. Okay, I'm going to rinse again, which, like I said, it's kind of rare for me. But in this one, we're going to have to, because I don't want to have any yellow in this brush and go ahead and make a nice background that's blue, because it's going to turn green. We don't want that. So just bang it out. Of course, if you're if you like to have really, really clean water, it's okay. You can go ahead and use 2 cups of water. Keep one for your dirty water, one for your clean. Or if you don't care like me, you can just use that one cup. Alright, so I'm going to make this color again. Okay, so it was the blue. And it was white. And I'm taking it from the sides. I'm still not going in there because I'm going to make it last. I'm not going to contaminate it. And since I already have black on my palette, I'm just going to pull some of this black in there once I get this mixed. You really don't need a lot, and there is still some on here. See, I can pick some up, pull it in. I always yell at, not yell, I shouldn't say yell. The people in my classes, they just use the whole plate to mix, and I'm like, what are you doing? But look, here I am doing the same thing. So now I get it, now I won't say anything to them. So this is a pretty nice color, very similar to what I was using. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply it on here because it's probably dry enough at this point. So I like adding a lot of different colors in the background as I go. But this is for a fundraiser, and this, I spoke to my client who's hiring me. It's actually going to be for suicide prevention. So this is what she wanted. So it might be meaningful to her, somebody she knows, or maybe somebody that took their life or struggling. I'm not sure. I don't really ask too many questions. But this is exactly what she had described to me. So she wanted a beautiful, like, muted blue background. Sometimes people don't describe things to me at all, and they just kind of let me do whatever I want. But in this case, she did see a sunflower that I did. Actually, I posted it not so long ago. That was for a fundraiser for another sad thing. And usually they're not so sad, actually. That was for a girl who was killed about 3 weeks ago by a drunk driver. She was only 20. So I did a fundraiser. Mostly for her family. A lot of her family came. A lot of her friends came. I think it was more like a bonding thing for them, or a healing thing. But they came, and it was actually a beautiful day. And the girl loved sunflowers, so we did a sunflower. And all the money went to MAD. So that was a good thing. Alright, I'm going to show you what I just did here, because mistakes happen. So as I was talking, I grabbed yellow. So yeah, we know that blue and yellow are going to make green. So hopefully I can recover from this. So I'm not going to panic. I'm just going to show you what I would do. I'm going to take more blue. It's going to kind of neutralize that color. I'm going to take some white. I'm just mixing it in. It was such a little amount that I could have freaked out and panicked, but I didn't. And that's what painting's about. Just don't freak out, don't panic. You can recover almost anything. So just gotta have to kind of try a little bit harder to get this color back, and I'm starting to see it. So I just used the same colors that I made it with, and I just added a little bit more in there. So again, it's a little darker. It's okay. Just going to keep going. I'm not going to stress about it. It'll kind of blend itself in. You won't even realize it. So when I paint these, I like to always darken up my corners. I feel like it draws your eye into your focal subject, into the middle. So I might do that, even though they had wanted like a more solid color. I just feel like, especially with these fundraisers, people are paying money to come to them, that I don't want to make it so easy. I like to teach them something, maybe blending colors together, something, so they get their money's worth. And that, so it takes a little time. I mean, This could be done relatively quickly if we wanted it to be. And maybe, you know, that's her intention, is to have something that's only going to be quick. Because she is in a bar setting doing this. So I don't know if she rented it out or what. Or if she knows the owner. But yeah. So you're still going to have a little bit of streakiness to it, which I like. I'm going to actually do a little bit of it with intention. Because I feel like you really need to see brush strokes. It's just who I am as a painter. And they hired me based on my past jobs and my artwork. So I'm going to go ahead and just not make it so flat. So if I were doing this for my own, like I said, I would be adding a lot of different colors in here. Just because I like to do that. But we'll keep it simple for them, because that's what they asked me for. So okay, so when I mix things together a little bit, you can still see some darks and lights very subtly. I think I am going to go darken up this corner though, because I just feel like I have to be true to myself as well. So here's a little bit of a darker mixture I made. Okay, I'm just going to kind of put that in the corners. I like some movement in the background. And it's just gives it some character, I feel. Okay. Alright, put both corners, got some darkness going on. Not too terribly dark, just a tiny bit darker. Okay. I'm going to rinse my brush out. And I'm going to go from there. Okay. I'm going to have to get another plate. I won't tell anybody though, because I'm always like, why are you using all these plates? But yeah, I'm going to have to, because of my little green background that I almost made. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a little bit of red, just a little bit, and I want to make it like a darker color. So I'm going to grab some yellow. I'm going to make it a little bit more orangey, almost like a dark coral, I guess. I'm not going to add so much yellow that it totally takes over, but it's kind of like a dark coral. That would be my best way of describing it. Okay. So I'm going to just work on some of the petals now. I'll start with this middle one. And it's okay to go into this brown area. I want to pull some of that color up. So I want to also, before I talk about this, I want to say two things here. So this is the 3/4 inch flat brush, and you can make like bold lines like this, or if you hold it on the chiseled edge of the brush, which is like up and down like this, you can get skinny lines. Okay, so I'm going to be working primarily on the chiseled edge of the brush, and I'm just going to pull some of this color up into that petal, just the bottom, not so far up, but just maybe quarter of the way. Okay, and this yellow's still wet, so it's going to fade in a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I might pull it this way to pull some brown in, but then I'm going to turn it for the chiseled edge because I want that streakiness. See that streakiness? Now I'm going this way primarily, but at times you might see me try to define the petal a little bit, so I will go towards the middle. So it doesn't matter what happens in here, because we're going to go over this. Okay, so chiseled edge, I'm going to go in. Try to keep how far you go in consistent, like you wouldn't want to go here all the way up. You want to kind of keep these all the same, because it's that burst of the center, that sunflower, that's making these beautiful colors. Okay, so just turn it on the chiseled edge, and I'm doing feather touch very lightly. Just going to come up. And I'm really starting into that brown area, if you can see here. Just pulling it. I'm not getting a lot of paint because I have a lot on here, okay? What I might do is come back and go like this and grab some. I don't want a lot. Okay? Just ever so lightly. You can push down to get it darker if you need to. Okay, since I showed you, I lost some of my paint, so here we go. Let me grab some more. Just gonna go up, chiseled edge very lightly. If you don't see enough color, and push a little harder. Going right around here. I'm gonna try to grab some of that brown from the middle if it's still a little wet. Okay, so far so good. Now I'm going to take some white. I'm going to add it to that. So I'm going to go from the side, and I'm not going to go into this blue. Okay, I'm going to try to just kind of grab it from the side. I'm just going to mix a small amount. I'm going to keep that color still. I'm going to add a little bit to the side of it. So I'm going to have a different version. Now it's really pale, so I'm going to grab some red. And I'm going to grab some yellow. I'm taking from the side like I always did. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more red. So now I have like this pinky kind of color here. I'm going to add some of that to it. I like to have many different colors. Just a little bit. You don't want to go over the beautiful orange you just put down. Okay, but I saved my orange because we're going to go over that again with that orange color. So I want a lot of different streaks here going on. And the quicker you do this, the better you're going to be. So I'm just using my wrists and just coming up very quickly. No stress so far, right? Alright, I'm not cleaning my brush. I'm going to go right back into that orangey color. And I'm going to just add some more right on top of it. Not a lot. Just a little. Very quickly. So they're kind of mixing, but they aren't. You're going to still see streaks of that pink. Okay? You want to still see them. Okay? Make sure you come into that dark area on the bottom. So just grabbing a little bit of paint as I need to. They're all going to be different, so don't stress about it. Just kind of make sure that so far you're kind of keeping these lines that we had originally here. We sketched it. You're going to see them. So just make sure they're even. Your petals are the same kind of size. Alright, easy enough so far. Dirty brush. I'm going to go from the side. I'm going to take some yellow. I'm going to mix right on my canvas. So I'm going to start in the middle. And I'm applying it with the flat end. Okay, I'm just trying to get it on there. And then I'm going to go back down with the chiseled edge into some of those beautiful colors. It's okay if they come up here. Let's see how it kind of transitions into each other. So I'm going to start, take a little bit, just slap it on evenly, then pull it down. Pull it down into those bottom beautiful colors. And it's okay if I have a lot of streaks up here. We're layering, so don't worry about it. We'll come back. So again, you're going to put some down. You want to just put the paint on. And this one's hiding over here, so we have to kind of figure out what we want to do with this one. It's like a bigger petal, but we'll work on that as we go. So just put your paint down thick. Oh, I missed one here. I'll go back to it. Just going down into those orange colors. See how I'm just kind of going back to that center core. This is my center core down here. And see, it's okay if these have red in it. I'm not stressing. I don't stress about anything. Because painting to me is relaxing. And that's what I hope it is to you. So we have a nice bigger sunflower petal over here. So I think maybe in here that's what I'm going to do also. So I want to see all these streaks. See how beautiful the streaks are? It'll come together. There's going to be stages of it that looks kind of like bad. I think sometimes, like with my friends at least, they're like, oh, it's so awful, and they stop. But it's a process. You have to kind of learn to struggle through the ugly, horrible parts until you see something beautiful. Alright, so I did all the petals here. I think I just want to do this one again because there's a little dark line here. And what I'm doing really is I'm not going to blend it. I'm just going to kind of lay the paint on top. And as I come back and work on it a couple times, it'll kind of disappear. So I'm just kind of touching it to not blend in, but just to sit on top there. So already it looks better. Alright, my dirty brush. I'm going to take some white, okay, and I'm going to start at the top here. Same thing, I just kind of put some white down, and then I'll use this like a palette. I'll feed off of that. So I'm going to come, pull down. There's paint in here. See all the different colors of paint in my brush? It's going to cross-pollinate and add them all in here. That's why I'm not washing my brush. That's what I meant before with I don't really wash my brush. I use it to my advantage. Okay, so it's okay if we're losing some of that. We're going to go back over that. But I just want these nice white, lighter parts of this petal because they are always lighter. So I'm just going to keep grabbing some white, just like we did the yellow. Okay, you want to make sure you do your sides. You want to pull down. So see how they already, this one's perfect to show you. It's transitioning. It's got red and oranges. It's got that little pink into some yellow bursts into some white. So this will happen along here as we go. You'll start to see that happening. But I'm just right now going to concentrate on the petals. So you can really see these three the most. So these really have to have a generous amount of white tips. And it's going to be covering because you layered it with the yellow. The yellow's a little bit dry now, so it's accepting my white on top of it. And if it doesn't, you can still see some lines through there. So what? It'll be fine. Use it to your advantage. It'll look like you created that on purpose. Okay, so you're not going to see the whole petal, right? But you want to see some of that white because you want to keep it consistent. So I'm just going to add a suggestion of it in the side here, or maybe up here. Although it might not start until farther back. I want to see all these beautiful colors and all the petals. So far we're looking pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to go back in to my yellow. I'm just going to pull them. Now it's in the middle, so I'm going to pull it down and up a little bit. We already pulled it down, so I'm just going to kind of blend it upwards. Because it's beautiful sunflower, so we want to make sure we know it's a sunflower. Okay. And we will, once we've worked down here, we'll know it's more of a sunflower. I love the sunflowers where I am right now. There's so many beautiful ones. But my son, when he was in elementary school, he came home one day and he said, because we had them in our yard, and he's like, Mom, do you know that the teacher told me if you put sunflowers in with anything else, that'll kill the other flowers? And I was like, wow. So I kind of started to not put them with anything. But then the more I look around here, I see other places that have sunflowers mixed with other flowers, and they're beautiful. They're doing just great. So I don't know what the truth is on that. He said it takes over the garden, something like that. Okay, so I'm just going to add some more of my yellow because I need it to look like sunflower. I don't want to lose all these beautiful streaks, so I'm barely touching. Barely touching. Okay, keep pulling it in. Don't want to lose all my white because we put them in there purposely for a reason. But I need to get some of these yellows back. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to find my orange mixture again. I'm going to come back into that. But now what I'm going to do, I used whatever's on my brush and just touched it, so it's coming up with a different color, and that's fine. I'm going to take a very, very small, tiny bit of black. I don't know if you can see how little it is. Very little. I'll pounce it off over here until I decide I like it or not. I'm going to take this orange color and I'm just changing it, maybe darkening it up ever so slightly. Mudding it up. That's what I call it. Okay. So I want it dark down here. I'm going to add some more black to it. Just not muddy enough for me. Okay, so it's kind of like this color. It's kind of like a coral, I guess. And this is all wet because I'm working on it. So I'm just going to ever so lightly come up and down. And it's okay to have some of the yellow down here. It should be. Just want to have a lot of different colors happening. But what I'm looking to do is transition it out. So you have your oranges I like to, like I said, I like to have a lot of different color and a lot of movement. I don't like everything solid. It just bothers me, whatever reason. But if you like it that way, then paint it that way. You don't have to paint it exactly like I'm painting it. I'm grabbing some yellow just for this spot over here. So as I go around, I will see areas that I might want to fine tune or tweak. Okay, so I have a little bit of a darker thing going on. So I did grab some yellow. I just want to make sure that they all really kind of come back towards that sunflower. I want to see like the colors are bursting. The orangey colors are bursting from the center, but I still want that flower to be yellow. So as you can see, my streaks, and I'm curving my brush too. I'm not going straight, if you notice. I'm curving it so it makes it kind of come back narrow. Okay, I'm trying to give the petal some sense of direction. So maybe this one here is here. Maybe there's another petal behind here that I don't see. So I don't mind that it curves in a little bit here, and it's darker in the spacing. Okay. Okay, so far so good. Pull some of these in. Go right in, but keep, you can go right in, but keep those beautiful colors that we worked hard on. Took a lot of layering to get those. Okay, so far we're doing great. Okay, so I'm going to rinse my brush out. Surprise, surprise. I didn't really have to, but for my next step, but I want to do this first. So my dirty water, it's like muddy, so I'm going to take some white, I'm going to mix it in there. So it's not true white after I mix it. And it's kind of thinned down. I added a little bit of that muddy water in here. You can see how my water's really disgusting, which is fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just curl the tips of these because I kind of want them to have some little whimsical. I'm not going to do them all the same way, so whatever, I might not turn some as much as I did the other one, just so they're different. Whatever way your petal's facing, they're not going to face my direction because we all probably did something a little different. But I just like to create some character there. Okay, so now I have this white mixed. I'm going to go ahead and give it some very, very lightly. I'm barely touching. And I'm not outlining like, you know, I'm not outlining so perfectly around everything. What I'm doing is barely touching. So it's going to skip. I may have hit here where I may have not hit here. I may have hit part of it, but you'll have skips in it. And I want that because the light's not going to hit everything like a coloring book, like perfectly outlined. I hate like anything perfectly outlined. It drives me nuts. So I'm just barely touching, but I want some white highlights in those leaves. Might have to take some more. I hit some colors from here, pulling them up. It's fine. As long as you keep adding some white, it's okay if it's not true white, okay? Okay, so I just want a lighter color in. And like I said, I'm just like skimming the surface. And I'm not stressing. I want to see it, but quickly. See? There you go. Like I said, I don't have to color everything in. It's just in there. It's going to help separate these petals. And here I might want to put it here. Just going to have my eye. My eye's going to fill everything in, so don't worry about it. I'm going to use my white. I'm going to use my dirty water. I'm going to go right into my white. Maybe I'll grab some for another plate. So it's dirty water. It's going to have a little bit of whatever color your dirty water is. I'm not going to make it true white. I don't like that either. Unless you do. If you like it, make it true white. It's up to you. It's your painting. Okay. Just kind of get it more inky. Alright. And they wanted me to write "Just Breathe." So that's what I'm going to do. Use your own handwriting. It's beautiful. Whatever it is, it's you. Okay? okay? Don't be afraid of you. If you think you have crappy handwriting and you hate it, you know, ask your neighbor next to you. Yeah, somebody. Or use a Posca pen, which I'll show you what they are. Let me show you what they are first. These are Posca pens. They come in all different colors. And it's acrylic paint in a pen form. So when this dries, you can go ahead and write in there if you wanted to. So this is pretty dry right now, but I like to write with my brush. But I'm just going to write "Just Breathe." Okay. And again, it's not going to be perfect, so it is what it is. I'm going to eyeball kind of where it's going to go. You can put it over here, you can put it across the whole thing. I'm going to choose to start here. Okay, so now you can see it's not perfect, but I'm going to go over it just to get it on there. Once it dries a little bit. So, I think what I'm going to do is make this little dots. That's what they had asked me for, like it's running off the canvas. Just breathe. Okay, so they also wanted a dragonfly, so I'm going to go ahead and find a picture of a dragonfly so I can take a look at one. Be right back. Okay, so now that I had a reference photo, they're pretty simple. They look pretty simple. So this is how I'm going to create mine. Okay, so I'm going to start here, I think, around here, and I'm going to just make a circle with the same color that I used to write in. Okay, and these brushes, let me see if I can find something to show you on, like a piece of paper that's dark. So the dragonfly, it's just a circle, and these brushes, they're like great for making foliage. So if you start out and you push down, lift up, you can make a great wing. So you use the tip of the brush, any round brush, and lay the brush down. Just got to play with it. See? You can make beautiful. Okay? Or you can pull it out, but I like it the other way. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to lay it down. I'm going to push, lean the brush down, and that's going to be my wing. Alright, let's see how it comes out. So I think I'm going to do the body first. And I want it to kind of be curved. So I always rest my pinky down. I'm just going to make like little lines for the body next to each other. And because they're long, and they're going to get smaller and smaller as they go. Something like that. You can curve it any way you want. It's just the way I decided to do it. Okay, so I'm going to touch down. It's going to come in really tiny, so I think I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to push down, use my brush. I'm going to lift it up, and I'm going to pull a little line straight in. Okay, so they have two wings. I might make this one a little bigger. So I'm going to push down, lean my brush to use the brush, and then as I come up, I'm going to connect them like that. And then I'm going to do the opposite way, the other way. So I actually might turn this a little bit to make it a tiny bit easier for me to do it. So I want to push down, use the brush, and then I'll come up very lightly and attach. Push down, come up, Maybe it's fluttering, flying. Okay, so there we go. And now let's see if we can add anything else to it. Maybe we can do some little dots like it's flying in and connect them. Very small. I think that's what they wanted, kind of like a trail. So what I'll do is try to connect to this, but I want it to be kind of curvy. There you go. So it's just breathe. I'm going to take a look at it, see if I need to add anything. This is where you can kind of go tweak your little lines up. Change things if you want. Maybe I'll add a little curve here. Brighten some of my whites up a little bit. But overall, I think I like it. Okay, so it's simple enough. I hope you give it a try. And I'm going to come in, before I leave, I'm going to come in and just go over my lines again now that they dried a tiny bit. I'm going to just breathe. I like to do things quickly. I don't stress about it, any of it, because it's really supposed to be for your enjoyment and for fun. I know if you gave this to somebody, like a parent or a sibling, it's a treasure. It's like part of you, you know? Don't try to be perfect. We're living in a world. I have a 10-year-old daughter, and I'm like, oh my God, everything has to be so perfect. She's 10. Like, no. So I'm going to force her to, like, do things very imperfectly if I have to. I think it causes a lot of anxiety and stress when you overthink things, and when you know, don't be so hard on yourself. My gosh. So I kind of like him. I think he's cute. You could come back in and give him a little highlight if you wanted to, but I think I like him just the way he is. As long as we can see him. I might make him a little darker. And there's a little trail that he left coming in. So that's it, everyone. Hope you have a great day. Primary color paints, we only use 5 color paints to make this. We did a lot of mixing ourselves. So red, blue, yellow, white, and black. There you go. Have fun, play, 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 and enjoy the process, okay? Have a good day, everyone. This is Barbara Beckmann. Please subscribe if you haven't, and also give me the thumbs up, or this way I know if you like the video or not. Or leave a comment. I love to hear comments. I want to get better. I want to, you know, change things up if I need to be able to reach more people. I like doing this, and I really enjoy it. So I hope you do too, and I hope you give it a try. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Bye now.